today I'm going to be talking about my most disappointing books that I've read this year. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean these are books I hate or these are bad books. These are just books that disappointed me because some of these books I actually really enjoyed, but they still let me down at the end. So these aren't like my worst books, but they're the ones that I expected more from that didn't live up to their hype, or that I just thought were something completely different, or that kind of were great all the way through and then let me down at the end. So yeah, let's jump into talking about some of my most disappointing reads of 2020. The first book is actually probably also one of the worst books, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I did not find that this lived up to the hype for me. I actually did an entire rant video on this book because I disliked it so much, but I was super excited to read it because of the hype, because everyone said it's this awesome story and it's great enemies to lovers, and I just wasn't getting any of that from this book. I just greatly disliked it. It let me down. There's this one weird chapter at the beginning of the book that flips into breaking the fourth wall that I never see anyone talking about. It literally turns into Jude being hey, I know y'all are reading this, but let me explain a few things to you really, really quick. And it was just strange. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that there's going to be a love story with Jude and Carden because he's terrible. And not even enemies to lovers. He's just a bully. And I'm pretty sure he sexually assaults her. And he's just not redeemable in my eyes. So yeah, it wasn't for me. It's not a series I will probably continue on with. So the next book that really let me down this year was Throne of Glass. I went into this book with high hopes because it sounds fantastic. A 7-book fantasy series that follows a badass assassin. Sign me up. Trigger buzzwords everywhere. It sounds like the book that I would absolutely love, but sadly it bored me. It wasn't bad. I gave it 3 stars being generous. I think it's more a 2, but I was just bored. It was very much I kept being told that Selena was this badass character, and I never saw that come to fruition. I never got to see her be this badass assassin that could kill everyone in the room. But I was told that. All I got to see was her being annoying, and everyone was just annoying. So it wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say I 100% won't continue on with the series, but it just annoyed me. The next book is another one that I've kind of gotten rid of. I don't have anymore, and that is Damsel. Now, this might also be one of the worst books as well as one of the most disappointing books. I was super excited to read a book that's a feminist fairy tale retelling of how the man conquers the dragon and saves the damsel with a feminist twist to it. But y'all, it was so bad. It was so bad. And I feel bad because there are people out there that really loved it. But for me, it was too on the nose, if you know what I mean. It was too much men are trash and all men are trash and every man is gonna want to rape you. Every dude wanted to just forcibly take our main damsel, and that was just strange. And it literally set up a plot point that male genitalia is a weapon. Excuse me? Like, I'm sorry, it just wasn't for me. I have an entire rant about this book though, if you want to watch it. Go check that out, because I don't really have much more to say about why this book was so awful. Another one is one I don't have anymore, but it's not a terrible book, and that is Star Daughter. I had really high hopes for this book because it is very based in like Hindu mythology, and I love that, but it just wasn't for me. The stakes never felt high enough, and it read extremely young. So it was definitely on the young side of YA, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not a me thing. So I ended up actually giving this book to my niece, who is 16, because I think she will love it a lot more than I did. I had the Owl Crate version, so it was like beautiful and it was signed, and I just went ahead and gave that to her because I don't think it's a bad book. It just wasn't for me. I was bored. There were never any stakes that I felt were high. The competition aspect in it was really lacking, and it was just a lot of like high school feeling drama to me, and it just didn't do it for me. Another Owl Crate book that disappointed me this year was Horrid. And again, I didn't hate this book. I actually really liked it up until the end. The ending lost me. Like, it was good until it ended. And I really wish it would have ended differently, because it was such a cool concept and such a cool story, and I just was frustrated by the end of this. Like, I gave it 3 stars. I liked it, but just that ending. Another one, this is a book I am almost finished with, and I'm just telling you right now that it is one of my biggest letdowns of the year, and I don't hate the book. And that is Malice by John Gwynne. And I feel like a lot of my friends are gonna like smack me upside the head right now, but hear me out. I'm enjoying the last part of this book, and I will continue on with the series. But the first half or more, I was so bored. I was like, I don't care about any of these characters. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't care at all about this like blacksmith and this son and this prince, and I just could not get into it. And I really thought that this was going to be one of my favorite reads of the year. And while as it sits, like I'm probably going to finish it today, I'm still enjoying it. That beginning made it really rough for me. Like, I DNF'd this as a temporary DNF because I just couldn't get into it. And now I'm just like, okay, well, at least I'm liking the latter half of it. And I will continue on because the story's really cool. It was so slow and so hard for me to get into for some reason. Another letdown for me was Rage of Dragons. Again, not a bad book. This is a 3-star book, but I expected it to be a 5-star book. And I just did not feel the love that so many others feel about this book. Will I continue on and read Fires of Vengeance? Yes, probably. Is it a high priority? No. But I still want to know what happens because like with Malice, this book grabbed me more at the end than it did the entire rest of the time. Like, I didn't find myself caring about Tao at all, or his revenge, or what he wanted to do, or his training. Like, I just did not care. I didn't care about him. I didn't care about his revenge story. I didn't care about his love story. I didn't care about none of it. I was bored, right? I was just like, okay, when are we gonna get past this? Like, when are we gonna get past this training and revenge? Like, when are we going to grow? And that never happened, so I was really, really frustrated. But the end of the book had me kind of wanting to read the next one. So like I said, it's not bad. It's not a bad book. It is a 3-star book, but it really, really, really let me down. The last book that kind of let me down this year was Supernova. I absolutely loved the first 2 books in this series by Marissa Meyer. And I just had so much fun with them. They were so fast-paced, such good reads. I loved the characters. The story was compelling. And then we got to this final installment, and the way it ended let me down. There were so many amazing opportunities to make consequences stick, to make decisions have consequences, and to really feel loss and grief, and to just be stuck with this world and turmoil. And we didn't get any of that. We got like this magic fix that made everything better, and you're like, really? And then if that wasn't bad enough, there was the epilogue, which left it so open. We get a character's POV that we probably should have had this entire time if that's what she wanted to do. And while that wasn't bad, it was very much like, and here's the potential for another series. Because it's like, okay, you just like flipped the whole script in the last like 3 pages. What is going on? Like, what? Now I need more. So this, as a 3rd installment, was a letdown. If Marissa Meyer comes out with like a 4th book, then I will still read it. So there's that. So hopefully this wasn't too negative of a video for you. Like I said, I didn't hate all these books, but I had really high hopes for them, and they didn't live up to the expectations. So these are my most disappointing reads of 2020. Hopefully you guys had fun, and let me know what your thoughts are on any of these books, what some of your most disappointing reads have been this year. And my name is Jessie. I will talk to you next time. Bye.